In today's Razorback Daily, ESPN's Jay Bilas is on the show to preview Arkansas's basketball game against Duke. It's Wednesday, November 26, 2025. I'm Quinn Grovey alongside my man Matt Zimmerman, and you're listening to the Razorback Daily.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Razorback Daily. And Quinn, we are so excited for our special guest. He's been on with us. I don't know how we keep getting him. I don't know if it's Tara or Sawyer, but we keep getting the legendary Jay Bilas on the Razorback Daily. We usually get him about once a year. Jay, thank you so much. You're in beautiful Maui. I wish I was there with you, but welcome back to the Razorback Daily.
Well, I'd rather be in Fayetteville. The barbecue here sucks.
We do have great barbecue, and I know you always go to Maui. It's a wonderful, usually do about 2 games a day. I was watching the games from this one. Of course, we watch it a little closer. Last time I was there was with Coach Muss, and we won 2 of 3. We didn't win the tournament. He made everybody mad at Maui, but we had a heck of a great time, and we won a lot. And Coach is back there again. How's the tournament going?
So far, so good. I mean, it's been good competition, and USC Coach Muss won their first ball game against Boise State, and I thought played pretty well. He's got a good team. They're SEC athletic. Their athletes are legit. It's not as strong of a field as we've had in the past, and I think everybody knows that. And part of it's the landscape. A lot of the name brand teams or blue bloods, if you will, are playing in that Players Era tournament in Las Vegas. So it's been a little bit of an adjustment, but Maui's going to be just fine. It's just a 1-year deal.
Yeah, and you know that was the big talk Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week of that tournament in Vegas, the NIL perspective of it. But those are great. The Bahamas, awesome tournament. Maui, historic. But all of a sudden, this just blows up, and of course, it's been talked about by college coaches for the last couple of years. But Jay, that's a hot topic that you just touched on. That's a big deal to a lot of coaches where they go and given these games.
Yeah, I mean, but you can't really blame the schools that are playing in the Players Era tournament. I mean, it's they make so much money doing it, and money's going to the players now as it should. I don't remember anybody complaining when fields were different because of teams, scheduling big non-conference games in NBA arenas and taking big paydays for that. The issue was the players weren't getting anything then. But when everybody else was making money, nobody complained. Look, I get it. The big change over the last 4 or 5 years or so is the players can be compensated now. And I heard one of the organizers of one of these tournaments said, the players don't care about being on the beach and being in a nice setting anymore. They want to get paid. It's like, duh. I don't see anybody else turning money down when they get a better offer, and you expect the players to be any different. It just this whole thing kind of, I know it's new, but these players now can make money that can set them up for the rest of their lives if they take care of it, and most of them do. And can you imagine with compound interest if you could put a decent money way from 18 to 22? And they've been driving the revenue all these years. So, it's too little too late. It should have happened a long time ago. But most of the players that I encounter, and we can still infantilize them by calling them kids, even though some of them are married, some of them have kids of their own. They're adults. They're young adults. But, years ago, when if a player wanted money, we would snarkily say, "Hey, you want money? Go get a job." What would happen if they went to get a job? They would have to pay taxes. They would have to do the responsible thing and all that. And this is no different. And the teams don't operate any differently. The players still want to win. They're still great teammates. We don't have fights in the locker room like everybody predicted. It's just normal business. It's just fine.
Hey, Jay, taking a look at this Arkansas basketball team, man, they come off a Sweet 16 appearance. Coach Cal, year 2 in Fayetteville. And what have you seen from the Hogs so far this season?
A lot of talent. They're really good, especially at the guard spots. With Malik Thomas and Darius Acup Jr. DJ Wagner's doing a good job. I think they can get some more out of their front line, and I think they can be a better rebounding team. But as you know, there are a lot of new pieces and a lot of younger players, but the talent's there and they play hard. So I see a lot of really good things for Arkansas going forward. They have a really challenging schedule, but every team in the SEC has a challenging schedule. If you don't want challenging, don't play in the SEC. But they're going to be more than fine. They're going to be really good.
Yeah, and Jay, the two freshmen you just mentioned, Malik and Darius, I think it's been an adjustment. We had 4 returners, which was really nice. We've had a lot of years where we hadn't had 4 of our top guys come back, and we had that. And we all thought that we would just build around that nucleus. But our 2 freshmen have been so good, that nucleus, that foundation has kind of had to fit in with these dynamic freshmen. I think we've kind of gone through some growing pains with that. But Coach Cal and great freshmen go hand in hand. Have you noticed anything about him with these handling of these freshmen so far, watching them from television?
Nothing different that I can see. Look, it's a process with teams now. You have to sort of accelerate that. It used to be back in the old days, you could bring in a freshman class and you'd build with it. And if the players didn't play as freshmen, they expected to play as sophomores and all that stuff. And you had older players in front of you. Early on in the development of any team now, they're all coach-led teams. And look, back in the day, your coach would call out a drill in practice, in October, and the young guys got to the back of the line and watched how the older guys did it. And now the coaches have to teach everything. But they have more time in the summer now. So
Yes.
It's really the chemistry issues and the intangibles that go with the team that really have to be accelerated. And I think a lot of good teams that are younger and haven't played together, even some older teams, Gonzaga's going through it, everybody. You might take a few losses here and there as you're building it. But the point is, I was laughing about this the other day. We're all older than the average Joes that are probably your audience. But, when I was a kid and I would watch games, Louisville and Denny Crum got praised early in the season when they would lose games. They played big non-conference games. They were in the Metro Conference back then. And they would lose a game. And the announcers would say, well, this is just vintage Denny Crum. He's getting his team experience early, so it'll benefit him later on. You lose the game now, and they want your head on a plate. It's really the same. I mean, you want to put your team – like the only thing that is going to get a team ready to play when it really counts in conference play at the end of the season is developing some experience and scar tissue now. And if you're just lining up cupcakes and knocking them down, who cares? Like it makes your record look gaudy, but you may benefit more from playing somebody really good, even if you take a loss. It's just not that. This isn't football. It's not that big of a deal. Go out and play. Like, when was the last undefeated NBA team? They don't have them. It doesn't matter. Like, go play. You want to win the game, but the experience is really important. And you can do all the game situations you want in practice. Down 3 with 5 seconds to go, side out of bounds. It doesn't matter unless you have it in a game. You got to have it in a game, and then you got something that you can really put in your memory bank and rely upon.
Hey, Jay, you talked about those freshmen. They're going to be critical to our success. And if we're going to get to where this basketball team wants to get to, which is the Final Four, of course, you talked about that experience. You got to have those freshmen because they're hard. They can go after it. But at the end of the day, don't you think guys like DJ and Trevin Brazile and Nick Pringle are going to have to really help solidify what's happening?
Yeah, and it's sort of role acceptance. And, I've believed this about roles. Like, your role is not who you are. Your role is what your team is asking you to do to win. So, if DJ Wagner's asked to play a certain role in support of Acuff and Thomas, that doesn't mean if they get in foul trouble or somebody twists an ankle that he's not going to score 25 in a game. Same for Billy Richmond or Carter Knox. You play roles, but you can still bust out of those roles. It's not who you are, and it might be at a moment's notice. And I think for any young team, and especially in this case for Arkansas, the decisions that are made play by play in when do I take it, when do I give it up, all that stuff. I mean, I heard Cal the other day say we're going to have to go to the old 5 passes before we take a shot there.
Yeah.
It's just the idea. Guys have to learn, and we all went through it. Guys have to learn that, oftentimes the best place to score is the other side of the floor. Like, you reverse it, you move the defense, attack. You don't want to do it off the first side of the floor. Sometimes in transition, it's better to, you can take that three. Sometimes better to attack the rim. Sometimes better to pull it out. It's the decision when to take it and when to pull it out and give it up that are the hard ones for young players to figure out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Duke has had a good start to the season. They've blown out their bye games. They've had some close games in the tough matchups, but Cameron Boozer, 6'9", I guess 250, 255. Jay, big, strong. A lot of times they come in so highly acclaimed, it's hard for them to reach the level of what the story's been. He's done that so far. He's had a great start. He's tough. What's your thoughts about Cameron Boozer as a freshman?
Well, this is the best freshman class, top to bottom, that I can remember. That doesn't mean there haven't been better freshmen at the top in certain years, or somebody in another year wouldn't have been the number one pick. But 1 through 20, I haven't seen this kind of freshman class that there is in the country this year. And I would put Acuff and Thomas in there. I mean, I don't remember. I mean, you might have to go back to Brewer, Delph, and Moncrief to have more talented guards than Arkansas has right now. They're young, but they're uber talented.
Yeah.
But Cameron Boozer reminds me a lot of Paolo Banchero, except at this stage of his development, I think he's ahead. I think he's a little bit more skilled. He shoots it better from the perimeter. He's a difficult matchup. Like, I don't know who you put on him as an individual defender that you would feel comfortable. And that's always a difficult decision. Like, do you double him, and when do you double him? And because he's a really good passer, and that's one of the underrated aspects of his game is he passes the ball really well. And Duke shoots it from multiple positions, so they can spread you, and they do a really good job off of flares and slips. And they get you after the second or third action on those flares and slips. So they're difficult to guard, and communicating is really a big deal defensively when you're playing against Duke. But Boozer, he's a high-level rebounder. But the thing you like best about him is he really does compete. And you guys know there's a difference between a lot of guys play, but not everybody competes.
Oh, yeah.
And he really competes. And that's a force multiplier for him.
Jay, Coach, that reminds me what you say to Coach Nolan Richardson. When I worked for him, he used to always say, some play to play. We play to win. He wanted guys who wanted to win. And because some guys just play, right? Yeah,
I mean, and it shows up in loose balls, second effort rebounding, multiple effort plays, things like that. And, like guys that do it in drills and practice, they're a lot of guys go, and I was one of them, honestly. It took me a while to figure it out. You tried to get through practice instead of getting something from it, and competing in every drill, and let the coaches decide when you've had enough, like go until you can't go anymore, and they'll dial it back for you. But those are, but a lot of these freshmen now, that's what really amazes me. Like, they're different now. You came in years ago, the adjustment seemed a lot bigger than it does for these guys. It's not just talent, because there were talented players back then too, but they're way more prepared and way more skilled than players were on average. Doesn't mean that Oscar Robertson wasn't as skilled as any player. I'm not suggesting that.
Yeah.
But the average player now is way more advanced than the average player was 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Chuck Barrett, the voice of the Arkansas Razorbacks, recently trusted Dr. Chad Betts of McDonald Eye Associates with his cataract surgery. In addition to advanced cataract surgery, McDonald Eye offers eye exams, same-day appointments, glasses, and sunglasses, contact lenses, and free LASIK consultations. McDonald Eye Associates. At Arvest Bank, we've got loans and we've got lines of credit for almost anything. Need to improve your home, consolidate your debt, or maybe purchase a new vehicle? Well, then apply online today at arvest.com/loans, equal housing lender. All loans are subject to credit approval. Craig Shy, president of Arvest Fayetteville, Emery Sissom, one of their top people. They all wish you a happy Thanksgiving from Arvest Bank.
Hey, Jay, you talked about Boozer, and for Arkansas fans who have not seen Duke yet, who are some of the other guys? And you talked a little bit about the style of play, but what can Arkansas expect from a Duke team?
Isaiah Evans is their best shooter, and he's a flamethrower. He can be a little bit streaky, but he can hit 5 or 6. He hit 6 threes in the first half last year against Auburn at 18 points in the first half. I don't think he scored in the second, but he's one of those guys that he can do that, and you have to pay attention to him. They've got a couple of, I think, special defenders. Dame Sarr, a freshman who's got a chance to be a first-round draft pick if he were to come out. He's from Italy. Long-armed wing, can switch. Like, they can switch at all 5 spots, except when Patrick Youngba's in there. They don't usually switch with him. So they're a switchable team. And then Malik Brown, who transferred in last year from Syracuse, he was an all-defensive player at Syracuse. He's got some of the best hands of anybody in college basketball. He gets a ton of deflections, guards multiple positions. He's not a scorer, but he can move the ball when he's in there. And defensively, he's a difference maker. The only spot, I think, their point guard position, like Caleb Foster is very good. Caden Boozer, Cam's twin brother, is very good. I don't think the point position is their ultimate strength. I don't think that's a thing you're going, oh my God, they're point guard. They're good, but that may be where Arkansas has an advantage. But I think the glass is going to be a huge factor between those two teams. Like, whoever controls the backboards, I think, is going to have an advantage.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I like what you say about Foster. And watching their games, I'd watch their KU when they beat KU by 12, and he did some really good things. And he seems like a guy that's gotten better for them, but he's kind of versatile. To me, he's more like a combo, right? He does different things.
Right.
He's not just a true point guard, but he's really developed, hasn't he?
That's exactly right, and I think the development of Caleb Foster has been really interesting because he's an attack mentality scoring guard. That's how he came in out of high school, and so the adjustment of kind of running a team and still looking to score. You used to tell a guy that was playing the point that was a scorer, say, run the team, and when you give it up, you're a 2 guard. You're a point guard when you got the ball, but you're a 2 guard when you give it up. Like, go look to score. And so he's had a nice development. I think a lot of people with some of these higher ranked recruits, you expect them to take off right away and then leave. But he's stuck around for a while, and he's a good, solid player, and really a good team guy. But he can score and distribute. Not jet quick or anything, but the one thing Duke has, they've got positional size. All their guys are 6'5" or bigger, length, and multi-positional defenders. And then that freshman they got, Nick Kamenya from California, he kind of grew up as a point guard, even though he plays a wing. Another competitive player. He gets compared to Con Knippel a lot. He's not Knippel, but he's a good player. So they got guys at every spot and pretty good depth, so they can come at you for 40 minutes.
Hey, Jay, you talked about rebounding and guard play as some keys. If Arkansas is to come out of Chicago with the win versus Duke, what else do you think they need to do to pull that off? Take
care of the ball. You can't turn it over. And then shot selection, I think, is really important because Duke can put you in some spots. They do pressure. They like to pressure the ball. They're not a passing lane team like they used to be. They used to get out in passing lanes and really try to choke things off. They're not containment. I don't want to make it sound like that. But there are some opportunities there against them, but you have to be strong with the ball against Duke. And you turn it over. I mean, look, turnovers, you don't want to make it too simplistic, but you turn the ball over, it doesn't matter whether you throw it out of bounds or live ball turnovers. Live ball turnovers lead to transition. That puts your defense in a bad spot. But you turn it over, you don't get a shot. You don't get a chance for an offensive rebound, and you don't get a chance to get fouled. And those are 3 really good things. And Arkansas can't afford to give opportunities away against a team like Duke, because for the most part, Duke is a little bit older in key spots. And so, like, taking care of the ball is really important.
I'm hoping, Jay, that Coach Shire, he's a Chicago area guy. I'm hoping he's got all this family and all these distractions and all this Thanksgiving stuff going on. But he has done so good there so far, Jay. 35-4 last year, and I know that was just a heartbreaking Final Four game. I mean, just crushing game. But they were 19-1 in the conference. I don't know how you go 19-1, and to me, out of the four blue bloods, and UCLA and Indiana used to be blue bloods, but really it got down to the four blue bloods. You almost got to put UConn in there with all the national titles, but Duke's the one program out of those four that have sustained the best, better than Kansas, better than North Carolina, better than Kentucky. They have sustained through all the changes in college athletics. Your thoughts on the status and kind of how things are at Duke under John Shire?
It's a good point. Like, John has embraced how things are rather than complaining about it. And he continues to recruit at a really high level using both the portal and getting high level freshmen. And look, not everybody can go get a recruiting class like Duke can. I get that. So, Cal did it at Kentucky where he could bring in 5 McDonald's All-Americans and, have 5 lottery picks that are 18, 19 years old. Not everybody can do that. But Kentucky, Duke can, Arkansas can now with Cal. But what John's done, he has a very firm grasp of who he is at a young age. He's not trying to be anybody else. He's not trying to be Coach K or do it like Coach K did. He certainly has principles from Coach K, and the influence is clearly there. But he runs different offense. He has his own thoughts and ideas and executes them really well. And he's got a great demeanor. He's great with the players. Look, he's firm and holds people accountable, all the stuff that coaches like to say and do. But he's got a really light touch with it. So he keeps the players confident and willing to take the appropriate risk at the right time. And I've been really impressed with the way he's handled everything. Like, he's going to be there a long time. And, whether he decides to go to the NBA at some point in the far out future, I have no idea. But that's the only thing I see getting him away from college basketball. He's the real deal. I'm really impressed with him.
If you're going to get the Duke job, have all the great players that played for Coach K that all became these coaches all around the country, and whether you're Jay Bilas, Johnny Dawkins, all of them, all these coaches and people in basketball, if you're the one that succeeds him, you got your ducks in a row. I think that says a lot, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, you always hear this thing about you want to be the guy after the guy that replaces the legend, and but that doesn't apply if you're the guy, and he's the guy. So he didn't have to wait for somebody else and then take it over afterwards. It's a hard deal because you get every loss they're gonna, well, Coach K wouldn't have done that, and yeah, he would. Like, he didn't win every game. But, a Final Four in year 3, I mean, every year it's kind of gotten better. I think it was second round his first year, and then Elite Eight, and then Final Four. He's really he's consistent in his demeanor, like we were talking about before. And then he makes adjustments to the way things are. Like, the way he's recruited, I think, is really impressive. And they've got a really good culture. Even though the winning has kind of stayed the same, it's happening in a little bit of a different way, and he's put his own unique stamp on it. And that's the thing that's most impressive to me is he's doing the job his way, and I think that's the way you have to do it, because nobody can beat Coach K, nobody can beat Dean Smith or Bob Knight. And look at all these other places. I grew up in Los Angeles, and when John Wooden retired when I was like in 5th grade or so, I think he was 65 years old, and I thought he was the oldest man who ever lived. Rick Pitino's like 74. You got guys coaching in their mid-70s. That seemed crazy back when I was a kid. But they had a hard time dealing with his successors. Like, Gene Bartow went to the Final Four, and they wanted to run him out of town.
Sure did.
Yeah,
took Coach Wooden's place.
Yeah, he took Coach Wooden's place. And remember the old story where Coach Wooden wanted to give Bartow his office, and Bartow wouldn't take it. So they kind of shared an office at first. and the phone rang, and Wooden answered Bartow's phone and said, "Coach Bartow's office, John Wooden speaking." That'd be pretty intimidating. Yeah, Wooden's like your personal secretary.
Yeah.
Hey Jay, I know it's early in the basketball season, but how do you see who are going to be some of the best teams in the SEC, and then do you see multiple teams from the SEC maybe potentially making noise in the tournament?
I don't think the SEC, like this sounds like a slight, but it's not. I don't think the SEC is going to be as good this year as it was last year. I think that would be impossible. Last year they got 14 teams in the NCAA. That's the best league I've ever seen. I mean, I remember I did 9 games called 9 games in the SEC tournament in Nashville. And when I was calling the South Carolina game, I'd watch tape of them, including their win against Arkansas. And I'm going, Colin Murray-Boyles is a lottery pick. I mean, this is the best last place team I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how good they were in their last place. And they had a great game against you guys in the SEC tournament. And Colin Murray-Boyles was a load, man. But the league won't be quite as good as that, but it's still going to be the best league in the country. I'm confident of that. It'll be the best league in the country. And like Florida's got to figure out their guards. Like, we're asking Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee to be as good as the guards they had last year. Like, come on, man. Those guards they're in the NBA. Like, those guards were unbelievable. And their front line is outstanding. So look, the SEC is going to be great. And you're going to have to bring it. It's one of those leagues where, like you mentioned, 19-1 for Duke. Like, the ACC didn't offer the resistance to Duke. Most of their games were blowouts, and I think that hurt them, frankly, against Houston. They didn't have a lot of end of game experience in a really close game. They had a little bit, but not a lot. I mean, in the SEC, you live in close games, and so you know how to act in those games. But the SEC is one of those leagues where most leagues, when you play well, you're going to win. In the SEC, you can play well and lose, and that's a big deal. And so you not only have to play well, you have to compete at a level that most leagues don't have to meet. And I do think that hardens you up as long as you stay healthy, and makes you that much better for postseason play.
And that's so good, Jay. I was looking last night after Bama lost a close game, ended up losing by 10 to Gonzaga. Our league, 16 teams last year, only lost 23 non-conference games. And we're at 18 right now. It's just, you're so right. It was so high level last year. We're just gonna lose a few more games because that was such a special season. I think it's wide open, but I think that maybe the bottom of the league is not as good as the bottom of the league was last year.
I think that's probably true, but one of the reasons that the loss total may be a little bit higher right now is everybody, at least from the schedules I've looked at, everybody's really going out and playing. Like, they're playing teams like Alabama. I think they're playing the Lakers next, and then they got Oklahoma City Thunder after that.
One of the toughest schedules ever, Jay. Incredible.
And like, I applaud that, not only for our pleasure, like our viewing pleasure, but I think it's really going to help them. And look, a lot of times, you guys know better than I do, like, a lot of coaches, they got a younger team or a new team or something. They don't want to beat them up. They want to get them some confidence, so they lay up some cupcakes and get them confident. I don't think you have to do that with a lot of these older teams. And Alabama's got an older team. They don't have a ton of freshmen. They got some transfers in and all that. But Nate wants to go out and play. And I like that. It's kind of the old Tom Izzo thing, or John Chaney, like anytime, anywhere, like, let's go and lace them up and let's compete. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Hey Jay, last one for me, man. We talked a little bit about the SEC. Nationally, do you? We got the usual suspects, but how do you see it playing out nationally? Who are some of the top teams we need to keep our eye on?
Purdue, I think they're the best team I've seen right now. That doesn't mean that's going to hold true for the whole year. I think Braden Smith is the best point guard in the country. And Trey Kaufman-Renn is a stud. Like, we were praising the footwork of Michigan State's Jackson Kohler. I go, it's great footwork, but it's not as good as Trey Kaufman-Renn's. And they're really good. Houston will be good again. I know Kelvin Sampson wasn't happy with the way they played.
Yeah.
And he let that be known. But they're going to be there. and Duke is really good. Like Florida's going to be really good. We got a bunch of teams. I just don't, at least right now, it doesn't seem like we have we're going to have the separation at the top that we had last year. Like I thought those 4 teams at the top, the 4 number 1 seeds last year all made the Final Four. And to me, that was predictable. Like when you picked them at the start of the year, I hate making picks because I don't know who's going to win. But last year, you say, okay, I think all 4 number 1 seeds are going to reach the Final Four. People are going, yeah, thanks for going out on a limb. But
yeah,
they were better. And I don't see that this year. I would be shocked if we had that. But that doesn't mean we're not gonna have somebody separate. But you mentioned like Alabama playing Gonzaga. Gonzaga's legit. Like they're really good. They're deep and they're athletic and tough, and they can score from multiple spots. And they got really good big guys. Graham Ike is a star. So they're gonna be there at the end. I mean, I think this outside of maybe their 2017 team. This is it's in that area. It might be 2016. I might be conflating things, but this is the best chance they've had to win a title, and I would not be surprised to see them in Indy.
Yeah, they were so good against Alabama. I didn't know they were that good. I was like, man, these guys look good. And I looked through all the preseason picks, man. They're just so hard. They really don't mean anything. But they were picked 20. Saw one thing they were 24th, another thing they were picked 25. Whew. They were really good, man. That's a good point, Jay. And we appreciate you as always. Hope you enjoy your time in Maui and safe travels. And we can't wait to see you somewhere on whether it's Bud Walton Arena or somewhere else along the way this year. Looking forward to seeing you. Thanks for coming on the Razorback Daily. Jay Bilas.
Thank you, guys. Can't wait to get back to Fayetteville and get some. I need some sunscreen on my head. My dome is starting to get warm out here.
Is it warm,
protect
Jay?
that dome. Protect that dome, man.
Is it really pretty warm?
I mean, it's like, yeah, it's about 80 degrees during the daytime, 75, 80. It's difficult work, and I hope people appreciate the hard labor that I'm putting in out here because it's all for you. I'm doing it for you.
That's awesome. We appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of your trip.
All right, Z and Tara, as we get ready to wrap up this edition of the Razorback Daily. Z, no show tomorrow. No episode tomorrow. It's Thanksgiving, man. And we've got to be very, very thankful. I mean, we're so lucky to be able to do what we do. Mm-hmm. I'm so thankful for our little family, you and Tara and everybody at Sport and Story and Hogs Plus. I mean, we get to do a lot. And, be able to work at the Razorback Foundation and just be a part of Arkansas athletics 24/7. There's a lot for us to be thankful for, as well as our families and all that. So I'm a thankful man for sure, and I know you are as well.
Yeah, that's well said, Quinn. I know you are, and yeah, we got our family here on the Razorback Daily, and that includes all of you, the listeners that join us, whether you listen 5 times a week or 4 times a week or 2 times a week. You're part of us, and we really appreciate you listening. And thank you, and we are very thankful for you. And then, as you said, the Hogs Plus family, Razorback Foundation family that we have, the athletic department family that we have, our teams that we love and support so much, feels like a family. And then our real families too. And I won't be with my family on Thanksgiving, and this is several years in a row that I've missed. Every once in a while, we won't be on the road for Thanksgiving, and I'll get to go, but I'm always there at Christmas time. And Thanksgiving makes me very appreciative of all of my family. And for all of you, Tara, thank you. We appreciate everything you do for us very much. You sacrifice a lot for Quinn and I. And I know you are with family in Houston, and you have to have a lot to be thankful for just being home.
Oh, of course. And just to reiterate what you guys have said, I'm very thankful for the 2 of you. You guys make my job easy. And I'm happy to be home for a couple of days, get to spend some time with my family, my parents, my extended family, and of course, go eat some good food. I'm looking forward to, I remember I worked a game right before the Egg Bowl when Mike Leach was still the coach at Mississippi State. And I asked him.
I saw you interviewing him, by the way.
That clip rolls around every single year, and it's one of my favorite things. And I'm about to make a plate. Mike Leach style.
In honor of Mike Leach.
Yes. All the gravy, all the cranberry sauce, no sweet potatoes. Those were the rules.
I have seen that. I guess you're right. I think it just rolls through, and it's often from an account that I don't even follow. It'll end up on
Yeah.
my Twitter page or whatever, and that was a great interview that he gave you on the field right there. That's some history.
Yeah, well, we got a lot to be thankful for. There's no doubt about it. And so I hope everybody out there that's listening enjoys Thanksgiving with their friends and family. And you get Razorback basketball, you got Razorback football, you got a lot of stuff that's taking place. So make sure you get that good plate like Tara's talking about. And then also, I just want to say I'm thankful for Neil, Tara's dad, because he keeps Matt Zimmerman for cheating in the pick'em contest because he's always trying to steal a dang win somehow, some way. So, Neil, I'm thankful for you, sir.
Oh, that's great.
Well, all right, Z and Tara. That's how we'll wrap up this edition of the Razorback Daily, a Sport and Story production. I'm Quinn Grovey alongside my man, Matt Zimmerman, and we'll talk Friday.